Who would have guessed Ken Climo would be the first big off-season wave? Mcebth is officially part of the New London redesign, DGPT awards, and I'm so very thankful there's even more this week in disc golf. What's going on, all you disc-generates? I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. Of course, I'm Swiss Cheese and also one half of the disc golf world, the nephew and uncle YouTube channel that's giving you all your disc golf news. And you guys are watching This Week in Disc Golf, where I cover all things disc golf from the past week. Now, before I jump into all of the latest, if you guys want to help the channel and represent your support, pre-orders on Disc Golf World hats run until December 2nd. Make sure to pick up one for yourself and one for that friend that loves to hate us. Those of you over on the Patreon, I hope you understand me diving right into this Ken Climo news. The 12-time world champion and disc golf legend departure from Innova created a shockwave in the community, which has completely dumbfounded us as if we returned from a holiday cousin walk. As inconspicuously as possible right before the holiday, and most importantly for Innova, Black Friday released that Ken Climo ended his 26-year-plus relationship with the manufacturer for, quote, an opportunity that he couldn't pass up, ending what most certainly expected to be a lifetime sponsorship. And yes, there was always rumors of Innova taking advantage of Climo on a long-term deal, but the two have truly become so intertwined as that Climo signature is just as recognizable as the Innova logo itself. But the announcement included spilling the tea of a possible future endeavor for the champ that instantly had everyone who's been thirsty for any bit of off-season chatter the first shocking announcement of the season, and with it, an absolute ton of speculation. Like most announcements this offseason, there's always someone there to attach Isaac Robinson's name, questioning if this was a move by Innova to free up some cash to go after the coveted two-time world champion. But it was made absolutely clear by Climo through his wife's account that was just not the case, responding with, "Don't fool yourself, I left them." This announcement and that statement certainly doesn't help Innova's image of being cheap, not taking care of their players, and a player marketing plan as tired as Dunpace's giant-ass floppy hat. That does make him look like he's always prepared for aggressive bird watching. Explains the socks with the Birkenstock look. The only advice that I can trust from those with that fit are stellar diner spot suggestions with a waitress name attached and the casual psychedelic plug. But Dave doesn't have a ponytail. I mean, it's understandable to lose one of the sport's transcendent talents in their prime, but to lose another who spent their entire Hall of Fame career with your brand, who is well in their retirement, is a whole nother question. Look, I'm sure the loss won't affect disc sales too greatly, but certainly leaves a bad taste in the mouths of passionate members of the disc golf community, even if it does mean a future Kelvin Heimberg Eagle run. Theories on Climo's future landing spot ran rampant, from being a full-time announcer for the DGPT, even possible ownership stake of the tour itself, some going even as far as saying it might be a precursor to a return to the tour. Yeah, it's been that type of offseason. While others seem to believe the champ will open his very own manufacturing line that included some stellar sleuth investigative work, as members of the community turned up that ClimoDisc.com was recently registered in October, making it appear at least possible. And what has to be my personal favorite, the odd partnership pairing with Scott Stokely, as animosity between those two was so thick during their playing days that dog shit and a car handle was once involved. And for those that want to hear it, allegedly. Side note, how great is our sport whose history is written like a goddamn Workaholics episode? As far as manufacturers go, only Discraft seems to make the most logical sense. It's certainly not fucking Lone Star, that's for sure. The whispers that we're hearing certainly lean towards Discraft also, but seems to be the betting favorite thus far. Would be my bet if I had one, as too much of what we have been told points in that direction. They are one of the sport's most reputable brands, with as long of a history as Innova, and who have already taken care of some of the game's most notable past names with their icon team. Bringing the champ on with a minimal disc lineup and a small fraction of that Mcebth marketing machine, to put it simply, would be more than what has come out of Innova surrounding the champ for over a decade now. Even if the disc sales don't give the expected turnaround, which is difficult to believe. Discraft taking care of the sport's most decorated athlete in his retirement during this economy sends a message to the entire professional player community. And if this disc golf economy continues to trend downward like it seems to be looking like, competition for top talents will only increase. And a move like this could pay off dividends in the future player negotiations. And I'm just glad the offseason hot stove is starting to warm up. With still rumored bigger waves yet to be announced, it seems more than a justified reason to stay informed by giving us a follow and subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. If not for that Workaholics Poo Dollar reference, how about for us removing that Paul from 69 feet ad? But let's hear from you guys in the comments. Where exactly do you think Ken Climo's gonna land? Moving on to another GOAT, news out of Bedford County, Virginia surrounding the New London Tech disc golf course seems to have Paul Mcebth now attached to the project. Mcebth was a co-designer on the original layout that was home to this year's World Championship. Certainly a win for the county and disc golf as a whole. Mcebth is quickly climbing up the ladder of being one of disc golf's best course designers. For him to possibly continue this course legacy while growing the disc golf community in that area only helps his legacy in the sport. And Paul Mcebth will certainly be needed, as the latest announcements surrounding the course also revealed that even more holes will be lost than the initial reports of only the back 9. Don't worry, I'm sure the team over at Foundation will downplay this news for the ones who need it, but I'm far more honest than that. To put it simply, the course's latest plan has me concerned, even with Mcebth attached. Unfortunately, only holes 8 through 12 will remain, with holes 4 and 5 converted to what will be holes 16 and 17 on the new layout. Now the good news seems to be the other property lot contains elevation unlike the original layout, and seems to be very densely wooded, which might also mean more work, as clearing for the project seems to be a lot larger than initially anticipated. Also keep in mind, many are hoping the new layout will be ready to host next year's DGPT championship. The Disc Golf Pro Tour Player Awards have been announced in a rather peculiar manner, and I'm not talking about that Temu Fantasy Cosplay Award Show music. Many questioned winners of the awards and the odd rollout of separating each award over the week. Thus far, Rookies of the Years went to chalk picks of Emily Weatherman and Jessie Nieminen, as each of them got their first Elite Series victory earlier this season. But things certainly got interesting when Evelina Salonen took down Comeback Player of the Year, beating out Paige, who returned from a devastating ankle injury the year prior, and Rebecca Cox, who had a stellar season that was her best since 2019. I'm not too sure what Evelina came back from. Her winning Most Improved Player certainly is well deserved, but Comeback Player from a 2023 putting performance is a bit much. Our boy Gavin Rathbun and fan favorite took down Comeback Player of the Year for MPO on a tour where he represented an open bag for the entire season after leaving Dynamic. But what might be even more shocking than that Evelina Comeback Player Award was Joey Buckets beating out both Anthony Barella and Ezra Robinson to be awarded Most Improved Player of 2024. Joey didn't have the most wins of the three, nor the best average finish or DGPT points for that matter, but still climbed further up the leaderboard than the other top 10 talents in the category. So I get it, but I'm certainly still shocked he won over AB. The Community Champion Award only came from the votes by the players, as the two largest names in disc golf, Paul Mcebth and Kristen Tatar, took down the awards. Both of their efforts to grow this game in a variety of forms goes unmatched. Speaking of Tatar, in an interview with Latitude 64, with a clickbait title more heinous than most of ours, addressed the jump putt cheating allegations, how it forced her to change her game on Circle 2 putts, and on the mental side also. There was one thing more impactful in that interview than Silver tearing up on their wedding day or her hitting 1,000 rated. It's how she's hoping to shatter the norms of disc golf. Tatar and her manager are looking to attract new sponsors and fans outside the sport's normal sponsorship, growing the sport to new heights, especially in Europe, and possibly growth of this profession in general. And the numbers out of Europe and the game overseas in general seem to keep being impressive. Sean Jack, VP of Partnership for the DGPT, while on Smashbox, mentioned the European Disc Golf Festival and Krokel had the highest peak concurrent views on the year, even above this year's Worlds. Viewership as a whole is one of the best trending metrics for the tour in an otherwise down year. But with 20% of the DGPT viewership being European, the money and support countries overseas provide, and the attendance of their events certainly warrants DGPT's desire to continue to expand with more stops overseas and further investments. Yet the tour's increased attention on the game in Europe and the money spent on its expansion in a current down disc golf economy here in the States has also put a larger strain on the sport's mid-level pros, making the game only viable for the top talents, creating further divides among the tour and the players, as more and more are getting more vocal about it. Both Austin Turner on Tour Life and Paul Krantz in a post are just a few examples. Turner stated it's difficult for non-top 30 players to tour, while Krantz made suggestions on how to improve the tour this week. That's already on top of public questions made by pros on the value of player tour cards. If the value doesn't improve or better payouts for all, which in no way, shape, or form seems likely, could see a number of touring pros instead choose to opt out of purchasing this year's tour card, as it just might be more cost effective for the bulk of touring pros to refrain. Not the news the top brass over on the tour want to hear after awarding cards to this year's Q Series winners and points earners. Now let's get to some quick hitters already. It's Thanksgiving, so pros shared. The Mcebeths, like others, went with the family photo approach and the sweater Hannah laid out. Kona and Colton shared a plate photo. AB is throwing dots in flag football, while Ezra Adderhold, of course, opted for a hike and yet another photo op. That guy has as many selfies with a sunset in the background as Austin Turner has showing thigh. But the best story was him running into a cactus. Isaac Robinson got hitched, congratulations to them, but Gannon Burr with the middle school dance strip takes the cake. But let's give him credit where credit's due, because at least he wore pants. While we're on Gannon, he claims to be pushing 800 feet. Let's hear what Turner thinks about that. Silver and Tatar share their James Bond-inspired Dubai pics. Paul almost takes out a Lynn's twin in pickleball. Ella Hansen's out there getting offensive rebounds like Rodman at rec basketball. And Henna Blomroos gets some badminton in. Evelina Salonen and Nicholas Antala are nominated for Finland's Athlete of the Year award that I won't dare try to pronounce for you. The two are alongside professional basketball and hockey players and Olympians also. Truly shows the height of the game in Finland for sure. Of course, we got our standard workout post, but this one was spiced up with Nate Sexton biking. Cupcake certainly didn't waste time getting his ass into the gym to get those off-season gains. Kyle Klein joins in while Anakin Steen works on her flexibility. And then there's Tatar, who went full Rocky IV Ivan Drago. Andrew Fish announces he will return to Discraft. Chandler Kramer pokes fun about his fandom survey. Montgomery's had an anniversary Lego build. How about some forced couple Wicked-inspired prom photos? Well, guys, that wraps up this week in disc golf. If you have enjoyed and you're not subscribed, make sure to do so already. And if you haven't, hit that like button, comment, and share.